The British Columbia Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
Good morning. Welcome back to The Crow. My name is Tammy Mack, and this is your 10:30 news update. BC Conservative leader John Rustad says his party will build a new children's hospital in Surrey to equip the city to better serve its growing population. Rustad said the new facility will have a pediatric emergency room and maternity services, but does not know how much it will cost. Meanwhile, the BC NDP says Rustad's promise is an attempt to distract, noting that Rustad's former party, the BC Liberals, has sold land meant for the hospital. NDP Adrian Dix says the provincial government is already working on expanding Surrey Memorial Hospital. More in election news, calls for Conservative candidate Brent Chapman to resign have been renewed as more disturbing social media posts have come to light. In his post, Chapman cast doubt on various mass shootings in recent memory and suggested people were not actually killed. Rustad has refused to dismiss Chapman as a representative and said that Chapman has received legal counsel to not comment further on old social media posts. Over the weekend, the RCMP and government officials presented evidence to the Indian government alleging they are involved in cases of violent crime and coercion on Canadian soil. Canada expelled 6 Indian diplomats yesterday, alleging India's top diplomat is a person of interest in the 2023 assassination of Sikh activist Hardeep Singh Nijjar. India has rejected the accusations and retaliated by expelling 6 Canadian diplomats as well. In response, federal NDP leader Jagmeet Singh called for an emergency meeting of the Public Safety Committee. Singh says we need to take every possible step to keep Canadians safe.
The RCMP allegations that were shared, the information that was shared yesterday, are deeply, deeply disturbing. The RCMP basically painted a picture that a foreign government is engaging criminal elements in Canada to perpetrate violence against Canadians.
Singh is also calling on Canada to ban the RSS group, which he describes as an Indian extremist militant group. The Public Health Agency of Canada announced the listeria outbreak in certain plant-based milk facilities is over. Emily Joveski of the Canadian Press has more.
The federal agency says its investigation is now complete, and listeria was found within the production environment of Silk and Great Value plant-based refrigerated beverages. However, the agency says it was not able to identify the primary site of the contamination, and production will remain paused until the Canadian Food Inspection Agency is satisfied with renovations to the facility. The CFIA previously stated that the source of the illness was traced to a specific production line at a third-party facility in Pickering, Ontario. No new cases have been reported linked to the contamination since August, and the tally stands at 20 confirmed infections in Ontario, Quebec, Nova Scotia, and Alberta, and 3 deaths. Emily Joveski, The Canadian Press.
The Canadian Medical Association Journal says we need to invest in early pregnancy assessment clinics that can provide proper care during and after a miscarriage. Karen Rebo of The Canadian Press has more.
The paper and an accompanying review of medical literature says miscarriage affects 1 in 5 pregnancies in Canada, but patients seeking help in ERs often receive suboptimal care. The CMAJ says one study found a disconnect between the medical view of early pregnancy loss as something that is easily managed and the reality of the patient's own traumatizing experiences. The editorial argues that patients should be referred to early pregnancy assessment clinics when possible and available, as they can provide a tailored experience. It says they're best equipped to address the grief, guilt, anxiety, and post-traumatic stress that can persist for a year after a miscarriage. Karen Rebo, The Canadian Press.
A new wave of lawsuits against Sean Diddy Combs sees 6 people accusing him of sexual assault. This includes 2 women and 4 men. One of the men was only 16 years old at the time. All were filed anonymously. Lawyers say the new accusers are part of a group of over 100 alleged victims coming forward against Combs. This has been your 10:30 news update. My name is Tammy Mack, and you're listening to BCIT's The Crow.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikka-King.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretnero.
And I'm Radhika Sikka-King. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.